Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. So, we will be resuming with our discussion. Our last topic in the previous meeting was about the police plans, different types of police operational plans, and likewise the different police operations. So, today, ladies and gentlemen, in relation to police operations and law enforcement operations, we have these constitutional rights, statutory rights, human rights, and to include the Miranda rights, rights of the accused, rights of persons under custodial investigation that we have or that the law enforcers should observe during the conduct of police operation. So we will be starting with the constitutional rights because this constitutional the Philippine Constitution is the highest law of the land. So allow me to share my screen. Constitutional rights of persons subjected to law enforcement operation. The Philippine Constitution, the 1987 Constitution, is the fundamental law of the land in the Philippines. So among the types of laws, it is the highest. Okay? So if there exists a statutory law, such as an RA, special law, and some of its content is in conflict with the Philippine Constitution, then the Philippine Constitution shall prevail. Unlike your RPC and special law, if some of the contents of the RPC is uh, in conflict with the content of the special law prevails, di ba? So, baliktad. Pagka Philippine Constitution, if there's a conflict with other law, such as the RPC or the special laws, the Philippine Constitution prevail. But if you compare special law versus the RPC, if there's a conflict between the contents of the RPC, articles therein, and the contents of our special law, the special law should prevail. Kumbaga, the special law amended some of the articles, obsolete articles in the revised penal code. So, the Philippine Constitution establishes the structure, the policies, the roles and duties of the Philippines government. It contains the Bill of Rights. So, yan yung Bill of Rights under Article 3 of the Philippine Constitution. And it sets out the state's obligation to promote and uphold social justice and human rights. I say again, it sets out the state's obligation to promote first is social justice and second your human rights under Article 13 of the Philippine Constitution. The 1987 Philippine Constitution states that the state or mentioned that the state shall promote a just and dynamic social order that will ensure the prosperity and independence of the nation. So our nation should be independent from the control of other foreign nation and shall be free and or and shall free the people from poverty. So dapat walang kahirapan through policies. So dapat meron tayong polisiya that provide adequate social services, promote full employment, and a rising standard of living and an improved quality of life for all. So in short, there should be a policy created by the Philippine government to improve the quality for all people. Kaya nga marami tayong batas, ladies and gentlemen. Actually, in the Philippines, marami na tayong magagandang batas. Ano lang ang kulang? Sa implementation lang. So, sa implementation na lang ang kulang. So, we have here the preamble. We, the sovereign Filipino people, imploring the aid of Almighty God in order to build a just and humane society and establish a government that shall embody our ideas and aspirations, promote the common good, the good of all people, conserve and develop our patrimony, and secure ourselves and our prosperity, the blessings of independence and democracy under the rule of law and a regime of truth, justice, freedom, love, equality, and peace. Do ordain and promulgate this Constitution. So let's talk about national territory. So this is Article 1. The national territory comprises the Philippine archipelago with all the islands and waters embraced therein, and all other territories over which the Philippines has sovereignty or jurisdiction. It consists of its terrestrial, fluvial, and aerial domains, including its territorial sea, the seabed, the subsoil, and the insular shelves and other submarine areas. The waters around, between, and connecting the islands of the Philippine archipelago, regardless of their breadth and dimension, form part of the internal waters of the Philippines. So this is the national territory. So Article 2, the Declaration of Principles and State Policies. So let's talk about the principles. Section 1 states that the Philippines is a democratic and republican state. So means to say, we are government of the people. Yan. For the people. Okay? So when we say democratic government, it is the majority of the people who decides for the people. So sovereignty resides in the people, and all government authority emanates from the people. So all of the decision of the government should emanate from the people. Kaya nga mayroon tayong election, di ba? Sometimes they'll ask you, did you participate if, let's say for example, a new law was created? Did you participate in the making of that law? So, indirectly, yes, we have participated. Why? Because it is us who elected our law-making bodies, the Congress and the Senate. It's the Congress who proposed the bill, and same with the Senate, di ba? So, yan yung mga law-making bodies natin. We were the one who elected them because we trusted them. So, kung meron man silang gagawin na batas, we indirectly participated in all of the activities of those elected government officials. So, Section 2, the Philippines renounces war as an instrument of national policy. So, the Philippines renounces war as an instrument of national policy, adopts generally accepted principles of international law as part of the law of the land, and adheres to the policy of peace. So, yung Pilipinas, ayaw natin ng gera, pero ang gusto natin is, yan, peace, policy of peace, equality, justice, freedom, cooperation, and amity with all nations. So yan ang gusto ng Pilipinas. Section 3, civilian authority is at all times supreme. So, boss ng government employees ang civilian. Kaya nga sabi, the police is a noble profession. Bakit? Because they serve the people. They are public servants. Same is true with all other government officials and employees. The Armed Forces of the Philippines is the protector of the people and the state. From whom? From the external threats, from the external or foreign nation who has the intent of oppressing Philippines. So kung merong ibang bansa na gustong sakupin ng Pilipinas, it will be the Armed Forces of the Philippines, the AFP, who will protect our country from those oppressors. Its goal is to secure the sovereignty of the state and the integrity of the national territory. Bakit? Sabi nga natin, di ba? We should be an independent Philippines, free from the control of foreign nations. Yan. So, Section 4, the prime duty of the government is to serve and protect the people. So, what's the prime duty of the government? It is to serve. So, pagsilbihan yung community, yung people in the community, and likewise, to protect the people in that locality. So, who will do the protection? Who will serve the people? So, the public servant, all government employees. Now, who will protect the people? Likewise, all government or public officials, specifically our law enforcement bodies to include the PNP, PDEA, NBI, DNR, DSWD, and LTO yan, and Department of Justice, DOJ, and so on and so forth. All government offices, agencies, national government agencies. The government may call upon the people to defend the state. Okay? So, the government has the power to call people to defend the state. Just like your ROTC, di ba? Pagka nag-ROTC kayo, ang ranko nyo mga reserve. So, yung mga nakatapos ng COQC, the ROTC officership, meron silang mga rankong reserve, lieutenant, reserve major, reserve captain. Now, in time of war, pagka biglaang nagkagera, these ROTC officers, ROTC cadets, and ROTC reservists will now claim their rank. So, hindi na sila reserve. Kung reserve major yan, nagkagera, ginera ang Pilipinas, automatic. Major na yan. They will be dropping the word reserve, di ba? So, hindi na sila reserve. Major na. Okay, so this is just an example of the statement. The government may call upon the people to defend the state. Same is true with the security guards, di ba? In case of calamity, the PNP may call upon the security agencies to aid in public safety. In the fulfillment thereof, all citizens may be required, under conditions provided by law, to render personal military or civil service. So, ito yung basehan natin kung bakit tayo merong ROTC. It is provided by law to render personal military or civil service. Kaya nga, however, this is in Korea, di ba? In Korea, kahit na mga artistang lalaki nila doon, required na mag-undergo ng counterpart ng ROTC in Korea, di ba? Kaya nakikita niyo mga artistang lalaki, biglang 18, biglang nawala sa showbiz, yun, nag-training ng ROTC. Unlike here in the Philippines, hindi nga lang siya ginawang mandatory. Ginawa siyang optional, but it's supposed to be mandatory. So, ROTC is supposed to be mandatory. And there was even a time, muntik na nilang i-drop ang ROTC. So, muntik nang tanggalin sa curriculum ng mga colleges. Yan. So, anong papalit? Yan yung CWTS, the NSTP. Yan yung maglilinis sa community, di ba? So, kayo na yung nagbayad, kayo pa yung maglilinis. Unlike your ROTC, magbabayad kayo, pero palalakasin kayo. Kayo yung magte-training. Ano ba yung mga natututunan nyo sa ROTC, di ba? Mga drills and ceremonies. That's one. Aside from that, exercises, physical improvement, physical strength improvement. Aside from those, pwede pa yung mga disassembly of firearms. So long as kaya ng school, kaya rin ng agency, pwede rin combat firing or marksmanship, di ba? So yan ang natututunan natin sa ROTC. Aside from that, survivalship in case na magkagera. Yan, tuturuan tayo paano mag-survive in times of war. And tactical deployments. Tactics. So, yun. Yan yung mga matututunan natin sa ROTC. Section 5. The maintenance of peace and order, the protection of life, liberty and property, and the promotion of general welfare are essential for the enjoyment by all the people of the blessing of democracy. Yan. So, kung mapapansin nyo, mostly is the task of the Philippine National Police. Yan. Who maintains peace and order, internal security. It's the PNP. Who protects the people's life against murder, homicide. So, pwede rin, PNP. And the community, dapat magtulungan, di ba? Liberty, freedom. So, who does this? Para di tayo masakop ng foreign country, dapat independent tayo. Pag kayo ng basehan, it's the AFP. Pero if it's talking about the individual liberty of the people from abduction, kidnapping, it's the PNP. Yan, so liberty. And property. So, ano ba yung mga property crimes natin? Yung theft, robbery, di ba? So, sama na rin natin, arson, di ba? So, it's the task of the PNP to protect life, liberty, and property. And the promotion of general welfare. So, ano yung general welfare? The public safety. Yan. So, public safety na yan. Are essential part of enjoyment of all the people and the blessings of democracy. So, section 6, the separation of the church and the state shall be inviolable. So, hindi mapipigilan. So, the state and the church separation. So, the church cannot control the state, and likewise, the state cannot control the church. Section 7, the state shall pursue an independent foreign policy. In its relation with other states, the paramount consideration shall be national sovereignty, territorial integrity, national interest of our country, and the right to self-determination. Okay? So, we, the government of the Philippines, shall be independent from the control of foreign policies. So, hindi dapat tayo kinokontrol ng batas ng ibang bansa. Bakit? Kasi meron tayong sariling batas. So, ano yung basihan ng ating sariling batas. Yan, so national sovereignty, territorial integrity, national interest, and the right to self-determination. Section 8, the Philippines, consistent with the national interest, adopts and pursues policy of freedom from nuclear weapons in its territory. So, bawal sa atin na plantahan tayo ng national or ng nuclear weapons. So, kung meron man bansa na magpapatay ng base niya dito sa Pilipinas, gagawa ng nuclear weapons, bawal. The state shall promote, Section 9, the state shall promote a just and dynamic social order that will ensure the prosperity and independence of the nation and free the people from poverty through policies that provide adequate social services, promote full employment, a rising standard of living, and an improved quality of life for all. So it is the responsibility of the state to give employment to people. So, siguro, sabi nyo, employment. So, yun yung maling mentalidad ng Pilipino. Bakit? Kasi, sa ibang bansa, ang mentalidad ng mga foreign nationals is they will put up a business to which they will be the bosses. So, sila yung magiging boss. Samantalang yung Pilipino, ano mangyayari? Instead of they becoming the boss, they become the employees. So, full employment. So, yun nga lang, yung mali doon. Yung mentalidad ng Pilipino daw, employment instead of being the boss, putting up business. So, yun yung dapat nating aralin. Doon tayo kulang. Managing businesses. So, when we say just, ano ba ang meron sa just? Dapat pantay-pantay, equally, criminal justice system, di ba? In relation to criminal justice system, dapat walang naabuso. So, yan yung just. When we say dynamic social order, in relation to social order, so dapat yung community natin ay meron na silang mga policy, unwritten tradition, the culture, yan. And when we say dynamic, it changes as time passes by. Kaya nga, dito, yung isang unwritten tradition dito sa amin, upland, noong araw, pag ikakasal ang isang igurot, lahat invited. Maraming baboy, maraming baka or beef na i-distribute sa lahat ng atin. Pero nowadays, as time passes by, pataas ng pataas ang inflation, pahirap ng pahirap ang buhay, medyo bihira na lang ang ganung mga igurot na yun. Yung pagka ikakasal, bihira na. Hindi na i-open sa buong community. However, that was the history before. Ano pang meron doon? Before kasi kukunti ang population. Now, marami na. So, isa pa yan. Same is true with your planning and intelligence cycle, di ba? Planning cycle. We should be dynamic. Thereby, hindi naman pwede na kung meron tayong plano, stagnant na yung plano natin, aantay lang natin na magka-problema, implement natin yung plano. Paano kung too obsolete na yung plano? Kaya nga merong cycle dapat. After we have used the plan, we should repeat the planning process from the collection of information. Same is true with the intelligence gathering, di ba? The cycle of intelligence. As soon as we have disseminated our processed information, which we now call the intelligence, for the use of the proper office who needs it, we shall again repeat the intelligence cycle. We shall again gather new information that's being dynamic for us to be in equal footage, yan, to be updated with the current trends. Anong meron sa dynamic? The acceptance of change. O anong quality yon? The quality of being flexible. So yan, naging flexible tayo as a result of being dynamic. So just to give you an example about flexibility, a decade ago, we have the company Nokia. It is the number one best-selling cell phone brand way back 10 years ago. There was this inventor who proposed his idea to Nokia. Ang sabi niya, what if Nokia, what if we'll merge this camera and cell phone as an enhancement of your Nokia brand cell phone. Anong ginawa ng Nokia management noon? Tinurn down nila. Parang hindi yata pwede. Sabi, tinurn down nila yung idea ng inventor. Parang mahirap naman. Camera is for camera, digicam is for digicam. Cell phone is for cell phone. Parang mahirap naman yata, hindi naman yata pwedeng pagsamahin yon. So, you know what the inventor did? They went to other companies. He proposed his idea. Sabi niya, what if we will create a cell phone which can text, which can call, and at the same time, which can use applications such as the camera and any other applications, softwares. We combine the software of the computers in that one cell phone. So, yun yung pinopose, tinanggap nila, ayun, ngayon. Diba? So, nakita nyo, marami na tayong touch screen na mga cellphone. So, laos na ngayon, asan na yung Nokia? Diba? Medyo lumaos na. Napag-iwanan na, kumbaga. So, meron na tayo ngayong cellphone na nakakatawag tayo, nakaka-text tayo, nakakapag-record pa tayo, nakakapag-picture tayo, nakakapag-video, nakakadinig din ng music, nakakagamit din ng apps. Ano yung mga apps? Apps ng mga computer. So, the Microsoft Offices, di ba? And so on and so forth. So, that's the price of being dynamic, of being adaptive with changes. So, dapat we have adapt with changes. Okay? So, that's the responsibility of the state to promote improvement or quality of life for all. Kaya mapapansin nyo, di ba, per government agency, meron siyang mga kanya-kanyang vision, mission. All of those, meron pa silang in alignment with their mission, meron pa mga objectives, goals. All of those are directed towards what? Improvement of the quality of life. So, lahat yan addresses this mandate of the government to improve the quality of life. So, Section 10 at 10, Section 10. The state shall promote social justice in all phases of national development. So, there shall be justice in all phases of national government. The state values dignity, and every human person guarantees full respect for human rights. And so we guarantee full respect for human rights. That's why even the PNP, the Philippine National Police now, has its office, the Human Rights Advocate Office. Section 12. The state recognizes the sanctity of family. Yan. So the state recognizes the sanctity of family life and shall protect and strengthen the family as a basic autonomous social institution. So what is the basic form of government here in the Philippines? It is the family. Yan. So, basic autonomous social institution, the family. It shall equally protect the life of the mother, the life of the unborn from conception. So, anong anong kaso yan? Pagka ang isang parent ay nilaglag yung kanyang anak, di ba? So, bawal yon, di ba? So, we have to protect even the unborn children. The natural and primary right and duty of parents in rearing the young for civic efficiency and the development of moral character shall receive the support of the government. Okay? So, it is the responsibility of the parent to rear the young for civic efficiency. So, in relation to this, we have PD 605. So, ano yung mga yan? The rights of children. Who are children? Those below 18 years of age. Yan. So, ano ba yung mga rights nila doon? The rights to education, the right to life, liberty, and property, and so on and so forth. Yan. Section 14. So, the state recognizes the role of women in nation building and shall ensure the fundamental equality before the law of women and men. So, these women and men, we, women and men, shall participate in the nation building. Sabi nga ni Dr. Jose Rizal, the youth are the hope of the nation. Ang kabataan ang pag-asa ng bayan. Yan. So, thereby, ang kabataan are part of the nation building. So, how do we help in nation building? Well, the practice of our right to suffrage, yung right nating bumoto. So, from that alone, we are contributing to nation building. Diba? So, yun yung pinaka-basic. And our right to be voted upon. So, pwede rin tayong tumakbo at may karapatan din tayong iboto ng ibang tao. So, Section 15, the state shall protect and promote the right to health of the people, thereby creating now Department of Health and instill health consciousness among the people. So, yan ang trabaho ni Department of Health, to instill health consciousness among Filipinos. Section 16, the state shall protect and advance the right of the people to a balanced and healthful ecology in accord with the rhythm and harmony of nature. So, anong department ang ginawa in relation to Section 16? Balanced ecology in accord with the rhythm and harmony of the nature. So, andyan ngayon si DENR, Department of Environment and Natural Resources. So, anong pinapabawal? Illegal mining, di ba? Kaingin system. Ano pa? Illegal logging, illegal fishing, and so on and so forth. It protects the nature. Section 17, the state shall give priority to education, thereby creating the Department of Education. Science and technology, arts, culture, and sports to foster patriotism end nationalism, accelerate social progress, and promote total human liberation and development. Section 18, the state affirms labor as a primary social economic force. So it affirms, the government affirms labor as what? As primary social economic force. So ikabubuhay. Yan. So anong ikabubuhay natin? Labor. It shall protect the rights of workers and promote their welfare. So what agency was created in relation to this? We have the DOLE, Department of Labor and, Employment. And if in case there was a complaint arising from violation of this section of the Philippine Constitution, it will be heard by the National Labor's Relation Commission or the NLRC, is still under DOLE. So pagka mayroong gwardiya, kunwari, nag-render ng kanyang duty, nakakaltasan siya ng kanyang SSS, ng PhilHealth, ng Pag-ibig, pero upon verification with SSS, PhilHealth, and Pag-ibig, wala pa lang nire-remit yung agency. So pwede siyang mag-complain. Pwede niyang i-complain yung kanyang agency or depende kung asan yung may mali. Pwede yung agency or the employer. Section 19. The state shall develop a self-reliant and independent national economy effectively controlled by Filipinos. Kaya nga, in relation to this, ladies and gentlemen, if in case there's a newly built or newly established incorporation or corporation here, it shall be not owned by a foreigner. Kumbaga, hindi dapat foreigner ang boss dyan. Dapat it must be owned by a Filipino citizen. Okay, so kung may bagong kumpanya, dapat Filipino yung boss. If in case there's a foreign who invests therein, dapat mas malaki yung share ng Filipino compared sa foreigner. Yan. Excuse me. Section 20. The state recognizes the indispensable role of private sector, encourages private enterprise, and provides incentives to needed investment. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we have this private institution, private companies, private business establishments. They are being required by the government to impart at least 10% of their revenue. Kung ano yung kinita, at least meron silang maitulong sa community. So, meron dapat silang maitulong sa community. Now, kung mapapansin nyo, yung mga private institutions, yun yung ginagawa. Tumutulong sila sa community. In what way? Through the NSTP. Yan. So, yung mga student, nagko-contribute sa community, naglilinis, nagdo-donate ng mga basurahan, nag-improve ng mga shelter ng waiting shed. Diba? Nag-tree planting. So, that's one way of contributing to the country. Yan. While in other incorporations, yan, ang ginagawa nila, they survey for a far-flung area, pwede rin yun, na nangangailangan ng donations, tapos doon, magsiset sila ng schedule to conduct a gift-giving activity or a donation activity. So, in that way, makakontribute, di ba? Makakontribute yung ating private companies sa Pilipinas. So, that's part of the responsibility of the private businesses. Section 21, the state shall promote comprehensive rural development and agrarian reform. So, meron na tayong Department of Agrarian in relation to this. So, kung naalala nyo, there was a time na nasabi ng government, kung asan yung lupa na sinasaka ninyo, mapapasa inyo. So, all you have to do is have it surveyed, apply for its tax declaration, and register it with the Municipal Assessor's Office. Yan. Pag nakasampung taon na, you may apply for entitlement or titulo. The state shall encourage non-governmental community-based or sectoral organizations that promote welfare of the nation. So, ngayon, meron na tayong mga non-government organizations or community-based organizations or sectoral organizations that aids in welfare building of the nation. So, mostly, meron tayong mga groups of volunteers. Anong ginagawa ng mga group of volunteers? Tumutulong sa community. In what way? So, pwede rin yun. Linis din. Diba? Aside from those, ano pa? Mga volunteer responders in case of emergency. And so on and so forth. So, yan. The non-government organizations. Section 24, the state recognizes the vital role of communication and information in nation building. So, the communication and information is important in nation building. Thereby, this is in relation to our right to information, the right to be informed, di ba? And the right to speech, hindi yun speak. Doon. So, kung anong gusto mong sabihin, you are free to do so. The state shall ensure the autonomy of local government. So, dapat autonomous yung local government. It must be controlled by the mayor. Yan. So, meron na tayong mayor na nagko-control per municipality. Governor per provinces. Yan. So, Section 26, the state shall guarantee equal access to opportunities for public service and prohibit political dynasties as may be defined by law. So, bawal yung building of political dynasty. So, kumbaga, ano ba yung political dynasty? Yan yung presidente. Kapatid niya yung vice president. Tapos yung mga senador, pamilya rin ng mga kapamilya rin ni vice president at ni presidente. So, isang pamilya lahat ang namumuno. Diba? So, that's an example of political dynasty, which is being prohibited. So, pinagbabawal yon. So, there should be equal access to opportunities for public service. Yan. So, mag-set lang ang COMELEC ng minimum requirement na pwedeng tumakbo sa politiko. So long as you are qualified, then you can apply. Pwede nga kayong mag-apply na mga ilang taon ba kayo? Mga 15 to 24? Pwede kayong tumakbo ng mga SK, chairman sa inyong mga barangay, di ba? Yan. So, bawal kang, pag nag-apply ka, qualified ka naman, tapos sinabihan kang, bawal ka mag-apply, no. There's a no-no. You have the right to be voted upon. So, pwede mong ipaglaban yan. The state shall maintain honesty and integrity in the public service and take positive and effective measures against graft and corruption. So, bawal ang graft and corruption. Okay, so pwedeng huliin ng government yan. Yung manuhol, di ba? Ano ba example ng graft and corruption? Kung minsan, it is conducted in the form of gifts, di ba? Kunwari, may mayor, tapos birthday ni mayor, dumaan ang isang businessman. May regalo si businessman. So, inabot ni mayor. Ngayon, if in case nagka-project, merong proposal itong si businessman, mas maganda naman yung project proposal ng isang businessman just because of the bribe, the gift, malamang ang piliin ng politiko na mag-pursue ng kanyang project is the one who had given him a gift. Kaya pinagbabawal ang gift. Di ba? It is under our ethics. Yan. The state shall maintain honesty and integrity in the public service and take positive and effective measures against graft and corruption. So, meron tayong batas dyan, ha? The law on ethics governing all public and government officials, and also RA 3019, the Anti-Graft and Corrupt Practices Act. Yan. Meron din tayong crimes punishing other forms of corruption. Ano ba yung mga other forms of corruption? The malversation, di ba? Ano ba yung malversation? You use the fund allotted to a certain project into a different project. Yan. So, bawal yon. Kung ang pondo ng local government ay nakaalat sa pag-develop ng isang government office, bawal mapunta sa ibang government project yung pondo nun. Kung saan dapat patutunguhan ng pondo na yun, dapat doon siya magamit. Okay? Otherwise, they can be held liable for malversation. Malversation ang tawag doon. Pagka ginamit nila sa ibang project, yung pondo na nakaalat dapat sa isang project. Section 28. Subject to reasonable conditions prescribed by law, the state adopts and implements policy of full public disclosure of all its transactions. Yan. So, it is being transparent. So, transparency involving public interest. So, kung may public interest, such as kung saan napupunta yung pundo ng government, then the government is mandated to show, the Department of Finance or the Treasury is mandated to show kung saan ba napupunta yung pondo ng Pilipinas, to show to the public. That's an act of being transparent. So, let's now proceed with Article 3, the Bill of Rights, ladies and gentlemen. So, the Bill of Rights establishes the relationship of the individual Filipino citizen to the state and defines the rights of the individual by limiting the lawful powers of the state. So when the state limits the lawful power of the state, we protect the people against abuses, government abuses. Yan, di ba? Yan. So it protects the people of the Philippines against government abuses. So, Section 1. No person shall be deprived of life, liberty, or property without due process of law, nor shall any person be denied the equal protection of laws. Bakit? Yung batas natin must be applied in public, in general, di ba? Must be applied in general. Kung Pilipino ka man, mayaman, mahirap, magsasaka, politiko, the law should apply to you. Diba? Equally. Batas, pantay-pantay ang pag-apply ng batas. Tapos ano pang sabi? No person shall be deprived of life. So, bawal kumitil ng buhay. Especially nowadays, ladies and gentlemen, that we don't already have the ang tawag dito, the death penalty. Wala tayong death penalty. So, ayan. So, bawal ang pumatay. Okay? Bawal ang pumatay. Deprived of life. No person shall be deprived of life. Bawal ang matulan ng death penalty without due process. So, ano ba yung due process? It pertains to the justice system. So, dapat merong hatol ang korte. Yan. Dapat merong hatol ang korte. Na yan, ibita yan. That's applicable if we have a death penalty. Pero kung wala kang death penalty, ang pinakamataas is life imprisonment. Yan. So, bawal ang pagkitil ng buhay ng accused, respondent, and so on and so forth. Or any private persons. So, liberty, bawal makulong ang private individual without due process. So, kung walang court order, bawal tayong manghuli. Okay? So, we shall not arrest any private individual without a valid warrant of arrest. Sir, paano kung naaktuhan natin na gumagawa siya ng krimen? And that's valid. We can apprehend that person right away. That is under our principle of warrantless arrest. Yan. Or sometimes we call it citizen's arrest. Sir, pwede bang kahit na civilian ay manghuli? Yes, kaya nga citizen's arrest ang tawag doon. Pag yung civilian na aktuhan niyang gumagawa ang isang kapareho niyang civilian, gumagawa ng krimen, pwede niyang hulihin. Yan. So, pwede niyang hulihin yon provided that he will turn over it to the nearest police station. Dapat may turn over niya right away to the nearest police station. For the processing, ano yung processing yan? Inquest procedure. Dapat ma-file ng police yung kaso within 12, 18, or 36 hours. So, 12 is the crime is light felony, 18 if least serious crimes, and 36 hours if the crime is serious. Ano mangyayari pagka hindi na-file ng police yung kaso within 12, 18, or 36 hours? Pagka hindi niya na-file at hindi naman pumirma yung respondent ng waiver, then the police officer has no other option but to release the arrested person. Okay? So, dapat niyang i-release. Otherwise, makakasuhan yung ating law enforcer. Ano ang kaso niya? Arbitrary detention. Pwede siyang makasuhan ng arbitrary detention. So, kailangan niyang i-release. Sir, sayang naman, ma-release na yung perpetrator kung hindi na 12 na-file yung kaso within 12, 18, 36. Yes. Pero, hindi na siya ma-inquest. Hindi na inquest proceeding ang tawag doon. Ano na lang mangyayari? The investigation will pursue, and upon the completion of the investigation, the investigator will now endorse the case folder to the prosecutor for the conduct of preliminary investigation. So, magkakandak ngayon ng preliminary investigation ang prosecutor. Ano ang purpose ng preliminary investigation? To determine that a crime had actually been committed and that the apprehended person or that the hindi pala apprehended na that the respondent soon to be accused is probably the person who had committed it. So, yun yung titingnan. So, kung merong ebidensya pointing to the respondent, then there exists a probable cause. The prosecutor will now file. Okay? He will now file the case folder to the courts, and the judge therein will now conduct preliminary examination. So what's the purpose of the preliminary examination? For the judge to determine still probable cause that a crime had been committed and the accused is probably guilty thereof. So kung merong ebidensya nagpapakita na possibly guilty yung ating accused, then the court will now issue a criminal case docket number, and at the same time, the judge will issue a warrant of arrest for the arrest of the accused in order for him that he may be bound to answer for the commission of a crime. Yan. So, who serves the warrant of arrest? Sino ang nagsaserve ng warrant of arrest? Any peace officer. So, yan yung matinatawag nating warrant officers or tracking team. Section 2. The right of the people to be secure in their persons, houses, papers, and effects against unreasonable searches and seizures of whatever nature and for any purpose shall be inviolable. So, means to say, yan, tapusin lang natin. And no search warrant or warrant of arrest shall be issued except upon probable cause to be determined personally by the judge after examination under oath or affirmation of the complainant and the witnesses he may produce, and particularly describing the place to be searched and the persons or things to be seized. Now, in relation to our Section 2 of Article 3, the Bill of Rights, it particularly means or state that no, the government forces is prohibited from searching private individual or their houses, papers, and effects without a valid warrant of arrest. Yan. So, bawal silang mag-conduct ng search without a valid warrant of arrest. So, kailan lang sila pwedeng mag-conduct ng search? Pagka mayroon na silang search warrant. Now, what is the basis of the judge in issuing a search warrant? After he had examined under oath a witness. Yan. So, anong tawag doon? Preliminary examination. So, parang preliminary examination lang din. He will examine under oath the complainant or the victim and the witnesses. And if the judge sees a probable cause that a crime had been committed and the items to be searched are in a specific place, then the judge will now issue a search warrant. And so, mag-i-issue ngayon yung judge ng search warrant. So, ano yung nakalagay dapat sa search warrant? Dapat nakalagay doon, particularly describing the place to be searched. Kung saan ikakandak yung search warrant. Hindi dapat malawak. Dapat specific place. So, kung room 302 yan, sa room 302 lang dapat. The persons or things to be seized. So, kung sino yung tatawag sa search, sila lang. Hindi dapat the public. Hindi dapat maraming tao. Kung sino man yung mga yon, edi sila lang. Kung anong bagay man yung isa-search natin, o isa-seize natin, dapat yun lang din. Wala nang ibang dapat na isa-search. Not unless, ladies and gentlemen, not unless, in relation to the plain view doctrine, not unless the searchers had saw or seen a contraband. And nakita nilang illegal. Hindi sila nag-search, pero with the plain view, habang hinanap nila yung items na nakalagay sa search warrant, plain view, may nakita silang contraband. So, question, can they be allowed to confiscate, to seize that item that was not described in the search warrant? Yes, they can. Okay? So, yan na yung yan na yung sinasabi natin na in every rule there's an exemption. Parang kanina, di ba? Bawal tayong mag-arrest ng tao without a valid warrant of arrest. Not unless the person to be arrested is actually committing a crime, di ba? Caught in the act. So, ano yung mga nakalagay doon? The application of the concepts of the warrantless arrest when the person is an accused personnel. O kaya, when the person, when a crime has just been committed and the police officer has a personal knowledge that the person to be arrested is the person who had committed the crime. So, yan yung mga uh, warrantless arrest. Same is true with searches. So, sa ano sabi ng search? A search shall not be made without a valid search warrant. However, we also have these instances to which a search warrant is not required. It's not mandatory. So, ano naman yung mga yan? The search warrant. Anong search warrant? The warrantless searches. Yan. So, warrantless searches. So, anyways, you will be discussing it in in evidence, in your subject evidence further. So, just to give you a brief background, what are the most important that we have to know about warrantless searches? So, when can the police or even citizen allowed to search a place or a person without the benefit of a search warrant? So, kailan pwede tayong mag-search? When in plain view, during checkpoint operation, in plain view, we have seen the contraband. Yan, nakita na natin. Illegal talaga. Anong example? Droga. Nakita natin, suspected shabu. Hindi mo pa ba huliin? Siyempre, huliin ka agad, di ba? Ano pa? Ano pa yung mga instances ng warrantless searches? Di ba? Search incidental to arrest. So, if we have validly arrested a person, it is but nature for us to freeze that person. Kakapkapan natin. Baka malay nyo, hindi nyo kinapkapan. Meron pala siyang armas. Diba? During the transportation, bigla na lang siyang nag-amok tapos napatay niya lahat ng pulis. So, kailangan nating kapkapan yung nahuli. So, warrantless arrest din yan. Kapkapan natin, baka may kontraband, baka may weapon siya. Diba? So, what are the other instances of warrantless searches aside from those? Kailan tayo pwedeng mag-search na kahit na wala tayong search warrant? During hot pursuit operation, di ba? Ano yun? Tumakbo yung ating suspect. Nakita natin, nagtago sa kanyang residence. Are we not allowed to break in? Yes, we can break in. Pwede tayong pumasok sa kanyang bahay. Sir, pero paano kung makasuhan tayo? Trespass to dwelling. Violation to domicile. Paano kung makasuhan tayo? Violation of domicile. Pag violation of domicile, pag government employee yung gagawa. Pero pagka civilian, trespass to dwelling. Baka kasi makasuhan tayo, sir. Pwede ba natin pasukin? Yes. Pagka yung perpetrator natin ay nahuli natin in the act, tapos tumakbo, hinabol natin at pursuit operation, nakita natin, pumasok sa bahay nila, are we allowed to break in their house? Pwede. However, we have to make sure that we shall be able to arrest him. Otherwise, medyo sugal yun. Medyo alanganin. Baka pinasok natin, wala palang tao doon. So, pinasok mo na, wala parang tao doon. So, means to say, hindi mo talaga siya nakita. Maaaring mabaliktad kasi yung pulis doon. So, dapat meron talaga tayong mahuli pag magbe-break in tayo. And aside from that, we have to observe the two-witness rule. So, dapat meron tayong two-witness rule in breaking and breaking in. So, sino ba dapat yung mga witness natin bago tayo mag-break in sa isang private house or residence without search warrant? So, at least dapat mayroong public official doon. So, barangay tanod, barangay kagawad, captain. Tapos, sino pa yung isa? Pwedeng member of the media or pwedeng any respected person therein. So, yan. So, at least dalawa silang witness. So, those are the example of the valid warrantless searches. So, the privacy of communication and correspondence shall be inviolable. Yan. So, dapat private yung communication. Bawal dapat na basahin ng public except upon unlawful order of the court. So, except if there's a court order. When public safety or order requires otherwise as prescribed by law. So, meron tayong Data Privacy Act. Ano yung sinasabi ng Data Privacy Act? If we, let's say for example, submitted our personal biodata to a firm we are applying a position on, that firm is not allowed to disclose any of our personal information. So, para sa kanya lang yun. Bawal niyang ilabas yun. Pag nilabas niya, he can be held liable for violation of the Data Privacy Act. Okay? And now, in relation to this section, we also have the rule on evidence. Anong sabi niya? The privilege communication disqualification. Anong sabi niya? Bawal na mag-witness ang isang doktor against sa kanyang kliyente. Okay? So, bawal na mag-testify ang doktor against sa kanyang kliyente on matters pertaining the sickness or the illness of the client. Ano pa? Aside from the doctor, lawyer, di ba? The lawyer is disqualified from testifying against his client. The doctor is disqualified from testifying against his patient pala yon. And the lawyer is automatically disqualified from testifying against his client in relation to the secret which the client shared or imparted to the lawyer. Aside from those, ano pa? Ano pa ba? We also have the marital disqualification. Means to say, a spouse cannot be forced or a spouse is disqualified to testify against his spouse. Yan. Not unless if the spouse is the complainant against the other spouse. So, yun ang pwede. Pagka yung biktima pagka ang complainant ay asawa nung kanyang kinakasuhan, pwede siyang mag-testify. Okay? Pwede siyang mag-testify against his spouse. Pero kung ang complainant ay ibang tao, di ba sabi ng Philippine Constitution, the state respects and dignifies family life. So, priority ang family life. Bawal sirain ang pamilya. Pag pinag-testify mo yung asawa against sa kanyang asawa, hindi ba yun magdudulot ng pagsira ng pamilya? Di ba? It will do. So, yun yung that's the reason behind kung bakit bawal mag-testify ang asawa against his spouse. Pero, in every general rule, there's always an exemption. So, ano yung exemption? Pero pwedeng na mag-testify against his spouse, yung kanyang asawa, if the spouse is the victim. Diba? Pagka sila yung party dun sa kaso, such as the victim or complainant against the accused. So, pwede. Any evidence obtained in violation of this or the preceding section shall be inadmissible for any purpose in any proceeding. So, in relation to this, we have our doctrine of poisonous tree. Ano sabi ni poisonous tree doctrine? Any evidence illegally acquired is inadmissible as evidence. So, pagka yung evidence natin ay illegally natin na na-acquire, hindi natin siya pwedeng gamitin as evidence against the accused. So, yun. Okay? So, pagka na-violate yung ating sections 1, 2, and 3, it will result to the inadmissibility of the evidence. Paano sir kung talagang yun yung yun lang yung ebidensya? Paano kung yung perpetrator talaga yung gumawa? Tapos yun lang yung ebidensya natin. Hindi inadmissible pa ng korte. Hindi na natin mag-prove beyond reasonable doubt yung guilt ng perpetrator. Malamang, di ba? Kaya nga dapat we should make sure that we don't violate any law. Otherwise, our means of gathering evidence will be considered illegal. Bakit ba naging illegal yan? Yung pag-gather ng evidence. So long as we have violated a law, even a constitutional right or mapaanumang batas yan, mapaanong batas man yan, it will now tag the evidence as illegally acquired. So pagka illegally acquired ang evidence, automatic, alam nyo na mangyayari, it shall be inadmissible in court. Yan yung sinasabi ni poisonous tree doctrine. So, pagka yung kahoy ay poisonous, syempre, yung fruits, magiging poisonous din. Yan. That's the poisonous tree doctrine. Section 4. No law shall be passed abridging the freedom of speech, of expression, or of the press, or the right of the people peaceably to assemble and petition the government for redress or grievances. So, meron ding right yung ating mga rallies to express their feelings. So, pwede rin talaga silang mag-rally. It's the right. It's the right. However, what's wrong is the illegal activities aligned or connected with the rally. So, ano ba yung mga illegal activity na pwedeng pinidot sa rally? Yan, baka during the rally, baka meron silang mabugbog. Anong kaso yun? Illegal kagad yun. Physical injuries. Thereby, the PNP should respond. Kaya, during rally, may napatay. Diba? So, bawal. Yan. So, freedom of speech, freedom of expression, or freedom of the press. So, pwede rin tayong makinig sa mga media na gusto nating pakinggan at pwede rin natin ibalita yung mga gusto nating ibalita kung tayo yung news anchor. However, we should make sure that what we are reporting is as honest as possible. No law shall be made respecting an establishment of religion. So, wala dapat magawang batas na ini-endorso niya at nire-respeto niya ang isang relihiyon or prohibiting the free exercise thereof. Yan. So, wala dapat batas na nagbabawal ng religion. the free exercise and enjoyment of religious profession and worship without discrimination or preference. Yan, so bawal din yan. The free exercise and enjoyment of religious profession and worship without discrimination or preference shall be forever allowed. So the free exercise and enjoyment of religious profession and worship without discrimination or preference shall forever be allowed. And no religious test shall be required for the exercise of civil or political rights. So, bawal gamitin ng religion ang kanyang simbahan, ang kanyang reliyon para mag-endorse ng politiko. Di ba? Pero sir, meron naman yung iba gumagawa. Iglesia ni Cristo. So, that's sa bawal. Section 6. The liberty of abode and of changing the same within the limits prescribed by law shall not be impaired except upon law order of the court. Neither shall the right to travel be impaired except in the interest of national security, public safety, or public health as may be provided by the law. So, in short, we shall not prohibit any Filipino citizen, we should not prohibit any Filipino citizen from his choice of residence. Kung saan niya gustong manirahan, di natin siya pwedeng pigilan. Di rin natin siya pwedeng paalisin kung saan siya nagkapagpatayo ng kanyang bahay. Okay? So that's the liberty of abode. And at the same time, ladies and gentlemen, we are not allowed to restrict travel of any private individual. So bawal din yan. Sir, hindi mali pala yung ginagawa ng mga police during the COVID pandemic. No. Bakit? Kasi meron siya sabi dito, except in the interest of national security, public safety, or public health. So if public safety and public health is affected, yan, in its interest, then the police can restrict travels or movements. Okay? So yan. Sir, paano naman kung yung mga Filipino citizen ay nasa malapit sa ano ba yung mga active na volcano ngayon? Ano basta active sa active na volcano. Pwede ba nating palisin yung mga residents, local residents near there? Yes, with proper explanation, we can evict them. However, upon their eviction, pagpaalisin natin, dapat mayroon tayong i-propose kung kailan sila maninirahan. So, dapat merong pagtatransferan. Meron silang pagtatransferan. So, that's Section 7 of Article 3. The right of the people, including those employed in the public and private sectors, to form unions, associations, or societies for the purpose of not contrary to law, shall not be abridged. So, we have the right, ladies and gentlemen, to create our own private sector, our own organization. So, paano ba gumagawa ng isang organization? Pagka kunwari tayo ay meron tayong pare-pareho na objective in life, ano ba yung gusto natin mangyari sa ating buhay? O kaya, let's say for example, lahat tayo may objective, gusto nating maging top-notcher. Then we can create our own group and we will name our group Mga ilang, anong years na kayo? Third years. So, meron pang fourth year, tapos review. So, 2 years. Kanina. So, the year today is 2023, 2024, 2025. So, pwede natin sabihin na top notchers, LSPU, top notchers 2025, di ba? So, yun yung gawin nating organization natin. So, we cannot inhibit or prevent someone from creating a private group, okay? So, kung gusto nyo lang gumawa ng organization nila, pwede. So long as they are not violating a law, okay? So long as they are not violating a law. So, Section 9, private property shall not be taken for public use without just compensation. So, ito yung in-explain ni power of eminent domain ng ating government. Ang sabi niya, bawal ang government na kumuha ng private property, private titled property sa isang tao. Yan. Lalo na pag without just compensation. So, means to say, libre. Bawal kunin ng government libre yung lote ng isang empleyado. However, paano sir if the government promise to pay the lot? So, pwede yan, okay lang. When we say just compensation, ang basehan ng just compensation is the fair market value. Kung magkano yung fair market value ng lupa na yun, hindi ganun babayaran ng government. Hindi pwedeng mas mababa, hindi rin pwedeng overpriced. Okay? So, hindi rin pwedeng overpriced. So, that's the just compensation, yung tamang presyo. So, sir, where do we apply the eminent power of domain of the state? Kailan ba natin pwedeng pwersahan na bilhin ang lote ng isang private individual? If, let's say for example, we have the aim of preventing traffic. Pagka ang isang lugar ay parating nata-traffic, hindi pwede nating bilhin yung nakatitulong lote malapit dun sa kalsada na yun. For what project? For road widening project. Yan. Okay? So, it is for the common good. Diba? Yung project ng government dapat ay for the common group. Ay for the common good. Hindi pwedeng for the good lang of a certain politician. Okay? Hindi pwede yun. Dapat for a common good. Section 10. No law impairing the obligation of contracts shall be passed. Yan. So, kung merong kontrata, wala dapat batas na magtanggal ng power ng kontrata. Yan ang sabi. Section 11. Free access to the courts and quasi-judicial bodies and adequate legal assistance shall not be denied to any person by reason of poverty. So, ang sabi, talo yung mahirap sa kaso dahil wala siyang pambayad sa lawyer. Diba sabi? Dahil walang pambayad, walang lawyer na nag-represent sa kanya sa kaso. That's a no-no. It is the responsibility of the state to provide for a lawyer. Yan. In case the accused is incapable. Anong right yan? The Miranda right. It was stated in your Miranda rights. Sabi niya, you have the right to remain silent that anything you say or do can and will be used against you in the court of law. So, yan. Second is, sabi pa, you have the right to an independent counsel of your own choice. So, pwede kang mamili ng sarili mong lawyer. Pwede mong piliin maski sino yung pinakamagaling na gusto mo. However, if you cannot afford the service of a private lawyer, kasi lahat ng matatalinong lawyer, mahal din ang bayad, the government will provide for you. Now, question, sinong government? Anong agency ang mag-provide ng libreng lawyer sa accused? Ladies and gentlemen, it is the PAO, the Public Attorney's Office, under the Department of Justice. So, sino ba yung mga offices under the Department of Justice? So, we have the courts, we have the prosecutor's office, we have the PAO. Even the private practitioner lawyers are under PAO, under DOJ, yan, Department of Justice. Now, in relation to pag na-convict yung accused, sino magbabantay sa kanila? BGMP or Bucor? It is the Bucor. So, what's the difference between Bucor? The Bucor guards convicted persons, while the jail, the BJMP, guards those persons undergoing trial. O kaya pwede rin yung mga convict of lesser offense, of light offenses. Yan. So, pwede rin yan sa clawin ng BGMP. Aside from that, the BGMP is under the DILG, while your Bucor is under the Department of Justice. Yan. So, free access to the courts and quasi-judicial bodies. So, kahit na mahirap, mayaman o mahirap, pwedeng magpatulong sa court. Pag mahirap o mayaman na biktima ng crime, pwedeng mag-complain, mag-file ng kanyang complaint, di ba? Sa court. True, of course, through the police. So, police naman ang mag-iimbestiga niyan eh. Police yung gagawa ng case folder. So, susumbong niya sa police. Police will conduct the investigation. He will prepare the documentation and he will endorse it to the prosecutor. And it will be the prosecutor who will be filing the case folder. Still on Section 12, any person under investigation for the commission of an offense shall have the right to be informed of his right to remain silent. So ito yung pangatlong right sa Miranda rights. Yan. You have the right to remain silent, you have the right to an independent counsel, and you have the right to be informed of this right. And to have a competent, independent counsel of your own choice. Yan. If the person cannot afford the service of the counsel, he must be provided with one by the government. These rights cannot be waived except in writing and in the presence of counsel. So take note, ladies and gentlemen, that the Miranda right cannot be waived. Okay? Hindi pwedeng, hindi, i-waive ko na yan kahit wag mo na akong sabihan. Kailangan pa rin sabihan ng pulis yan ng kanyang Miranda right. Pagka, even lawyers, di ba? Even lawyers sometimes. Question. If Patrolman Pedro, let's say for example, had apprehended a lawyer suspect. Yan. So, suspect na lawyer. He committed a crime. Tapos, when Patrolman Pedro was about to inform the lawyer on his Miranda rights, the lawyer stopped Patrolman Pedro. Sabi, wag mo na akong sabihan ng Miranda rights ko. I know my rights. I'm a lawyer. Question. Is it valid for Patrolman Pedro not to continue reading the Miranda rights or stating the Miranda rights of the lawyer? Will it be valid or not? Ladies and gentlemen, the answer to that is, yan na, sinasabi na, nakasaad na dyan, di ba? These rights cannot be waived except in writing and except in the presence of the counsel. Pagka sinabi niyang ganyan, Patrolman Pedro should still read or inform the lawyer of his Miranda rights. Why? Because the Miranda rights cannot be waived. Baka matanong nyo, Sir, ano bang kaso, ano bang mangyayari pagka hindi na-inform ng kanyang Miranda rights? yung lawyer. It will lead to technicalities later on during trial. Mamaya, yung, kahit yung lawyer yung gumawa ng krimen, kahit na siya yung gumawa ng krimen, dahil lang sa hindi natin nasabi yung kanyang Miranda rights, edi automatic, lahat ng mga nag-gather nating evidence, lahat ng mga pag-aamin niya, kung sakali man, will be null and void, will be inadmissible as evidence against him in the court, di ba? So, yun kasi yung mangyayari. That's why we have to inform every arrested person of their Miranda rights. And if in case they would like to waive their right, it must be in writing. So, dapat na nakasulat. Mayroon siyang pirma. And hindi lang nakasulat, dapat meron pang assistance from his counsel. Okay? So, pagka wala yan, pagka pumirma siya, without the assistance of his counsel, then you already know what would happen to the case, di ba? It will lead to the technicality. Yan. So, it may lead to the technicality of the case. Pwedeng ma-dismiss yung kaso, pwedeng ma-acquit right away yung accused. Sayang. Still on Section 12, no torture, force, violence, threat, intimidation, or any other means which vitiate the free will shall be used against him. Secret detention places, solitary, incommunicado. Yan yung mga Bartolina sa BGMP, sa estasyon, Newport. Bawal na yun ha. Or other similar forms of detention are prohibited. Okay? So, bawal tayong mang-torture ng ating apprehended suspects. Bawal natin silang i-threat. Anong kaso yun? Diba? Threat or coercion. Bawal natin silang i-intimidate. Bawal natin silang i-coerce. Bawal din natin silang ikulong sa Bartolina. Yan, yung madilim na kwarto sa pinakababa na kasama niya lang daga. Bawal yun. Any confession or admission obtained in violation of this section or section 17 hereof shall be inadmissible in evidence against him. So, means to say, pagka tinorture natin ang isang suspect tapos umamin, lahat ng kanyang pang-aamin cannot be used as evidence against him. Next, the law shall provide for penal and civic sanction of violations of this section, as well as compensation and rehabilitation of the victims of torture or similar practices and their families. So take note of this, ladies and gentlemen. Lahat ng nag-violate nitong ating constitutional rights ay magkakaroon ng penalty and civil sanction. Ano yung mga civil sanction? Damages, di ba? Multa. As well as, babayaran pa natin, compensation. Babayaran pa natin yung damages we caused to the victims we have tortured, accused. And at the same time, rehabilitation of the victims of torture or similar practices in their families. Yan. So, Section 13, all persons except those charged with offenses punishable by reclusion perpetua, when evidence of guilt is strong, shall before conviction be bailable by sufficient securities or be released on recognizance as may be provided by law. So it is a right of the accused to bail himself. Yan. So bawal natin siyang pagbawalan na mag-post ng bail. Meron naman siya pangbayad ng bail, yan lang natin. Because it's his right. The right to bail shall not be impaired even when the privilege of the writ of habeas corpus is suspended. Excessive bail shall not be required. So, bawal din ang mataas masyadong bail. Dapat yung sakto lang. Now, question. Sino ba ang nagbibigay ng bail sa isang accused? It is also the judge din. Yung judge din yan. No person shall be held to answer for a criminal offense without due process of the law. So, lahat ng mapipenalize dapat nag-underwent ng due process. Ano ba yung due process again? The criminal procedure. Dapat na-convict siya. Okay? Pag na-convict siya, saka siya pwedeng managot. Pagka hindi pa siya na-convict, hindi pa siya pwedeng managot ng kanyang kaso. In all criminal prosecution, the accused shall be presumed innocent. Okay? The right to be presumed until proven guilty. That's one right of the accused. And shall enjoy the right to be heard by himself. So they have the right to be heard, right to trial, and the right to independent counsel. Yan. Right to be informed of the nature and cause of the accusation against him. So, parati yan every time that a police officer will be apprehending someone, the police officer shall identify himself as a police officer. Yan. So, tigil! Pulis ito. Diba? Hinuhuli ka sa kasong panggagahasa. Yan. So, that's how you inform the person to be arrested of the nature of the accusation against him. The accused, ladies and gentlemen, has the right to a speedy and impartial trial. Yan. So, dapat mabilis yung trial. Meron, kasi right yan. Wala dapat delaying tactics. Impartial. Dapat yung trial. Wala dapat yung judge, dapat walang kinikilingan. Diba? Dapat patas. And to have a compulsory process to secure, aside from that, the trial must be done in public. So it must be in public, hindi dapat private. So dapat public court. And to meet the witnesses face to face. Okay? So dapat meet ng counsel yung kanyang accused face to face. And to have compulsory process to secure the attendance of witnesses and the production of evidence in his behalf. However, after arraignment, trial may proceed without or notwithstanding the absence of the accused, provided that he has been duly notified and has failure to appear is unjustifiable. Yan. So, ang sabi, di ba, the accused has the right to impartial, speedy, and public trial. Ang problema, kung minsan, yung mga accused din ang hindi nagpapakita para madili yung kaso. If the accused, ladies and gentlemen, have already undergone his arraignment, ano yung malalaman? Meron na siyang masabing, how do you plea? Guilty or not guilty? Not guilty, di ba? So, kung meron na siyang arraignment, he had plead not guilty, and he did not attend the succeeding trial, okay, he can be, the trial can presume with or without him. So, anong tawag doon? Trial in absentia. He can be still, the trial against him can still be pursued. So, pwede pa rin mag-conduct ng trial. Mata-trial in absentia siya ngayon. Section 15. The privilege of the writ of habeas corpus shall not be suspended except in cases of invasion or rebellion when the public safety requires it. All persons shall have the right to a speedy disposition of their cases before all judicial or quasi-judicial or administrative bodies. So, yung judicial courts, yan, alam na natin to. Yan yung mga MTC, RTC, Appellate Court, Court of Appeals, Supreme Court. Yan yung mga ating regular courts. When we say quasi-judicial, ito yung mga hindi sila court but they can hear cases such as the NLRC, National Labor Relations Commission, the and any other agencies. Hindi sila court, they are not court, but they have the power or authority to hear and decide cases. We also have here administrative bodies. So in relation to administrative disciplinary mechanism, if a government employee, ladies and gentlemen, administrative case is applicable only to government employee. If a government employee violates an administrative code, then he can be sued with administrative cases. And where can we file our administrative cases? To the what we call administrative bodies. Let's say for example, if Patrolman Pedro erred in the performance of his duty, di ba? So saan pwedeng mag-file ng kaso against him? Yung biktima. So pwedeng sa IAS, pwedeng sa PLEB, sa People's Law Enforcement Board, headed by the mayor, the local chief executive. O pwede rin magpatulong sa NAPOLCOM for advice. At pwede rin si COP, PD, or RD, yung boss ng police, mag-file ng kaso against his personnel. So pagka ang nagkakaso sa isang pulis ay yung kanyang boss, ang tawag natin dun sa kaso niya is breach of internal discipline. That is one part of an admin case. Pero kung ang nagkakaso sa private individual is a citizen, ang tawag dyan is citizen's complaint. Okay? So, citizen's complaint. So, Section 17, no person shall be compelled to be a witness against himself. So, hindi pwedeng mapilitin natin ang isang accused na mag-testify against himself. Okay? So, this is in relation to the accused's right, di ba? Against self-incrimination. So, right against self-incrimination. And kung mapapansin nyo, ladies and gentlemen, most of our statutory laws, even human rights, statutory rights pala, are the improvement, kaya lifted from the Bill of Rights. Kung mapapansin nyo, connected pa rin yan sa mga Bill of Rights. Diba? Connected yung mga yan. So, Section 18, no person shall be detained solely by reason of his political beliefs and aspiration. So, kung ang tao ay nakulong dahil sa kanyang paniniwala, political belief, bawal yon. Dapat hindi naman krimen yung paniniwala, di ba? Not unless he had committed a crime, hindi yung crime ang kaso niya. I-file natin. No involuntary servitude in any form shall exist except as punishment for a crime whereof the party shall have been duly convicted. Yan. So, wala. It is illegal to enforce mandatory servitude. So, pagka mayroon tayong personnel na admin case, tapos pipilitin natin na mag-serve, bawal po yun. Yan. So, no involuntary servitude. As a means of punishment, okay? So, as a means of punishment to his crime. So, kung meron siya nagawang crime, o sige, ito na lang gawin mo. So, ginawa siyang alila. So, that's no. No involuntary servitude in any form shall exist except as punishment for a crime whereof the party shall have been duly convicted. Maliban na lang kung na-convict na siya. Okay? So, maliban na lang kung na-convict siya, pwede. Pero kung hindi pa na-convict, wala pa, hindi pa pwede. Excessive fines shall not be imposed. So, mahal na fines shall not be imposed. Nor cruel, degrading, or inhuman punishment shall not be inflicted. So, bawal din tayong manakit. Bawal mag-degrade. Bawal ang inhuman punishment. neither shall death penalty be imposed. So, bawal tayong magpataw ng death penalty unless for the compelling reasons involving heinous crimes. So, maliban na lang kung yung krimen ay heinous crime. The Congress hereafter provides for it. Any death penalty already imposed shall be reduced to reclusion perpetua. Okay? So, pati yung kaisa-isang death penalty, dapat ma-reduce into reclusion perpetua. The employment of physical, psychological, or degrading punishment against any prisoner or detainee, or the use of substandard or inadequate penal facilities under subhuman condition shall be dealt with by law. So in short, bawal nating i-torture, psychological or physical, kaya bawal din nating ipahiya yung ating prisoner. Yan. Or degrading punishment against any prisoner or detainee, or the use of substandard adequate penal facilities under subhuman conditions shall be dealt with by law. Section 20, no person shall be imprisoned for debt or non-payment of full tax. So, walang maski sinong Pilipino ang dapat na makulong dahil lang sa kanyang utang. Yan. Okay? So, dahil lang sa kanyang utang. Pero kung kinasuhan ng estafa at na-guilty, pwedeng makulong. Okay? Pwedeng makulong. Pag napasok sa estafa. Qualified estafa. No person shall be twice put in jeopardy of punishment for the same offense. If an act is punished by a law and an ordinance, conviction or acquittal under either shall constitute a bar to another prosecution of the same act. So, that's our rights against double jeopardy. Pagka ang isang perpetrator ng krimen ay dalawa yung kanyang offense na na-commit, tapos nakasuhan na siya ng isang kaso, hindi na pwedeng i-file pa yung isang kaso against him. Okay, so that's the double jeopardy. Section 22. No ex post facto law or bill of attainder shall be enacted. Ano ba yung mga ex post facto bill or bill of attainder? Ito yung mga batas punishing previous acts. So, bawal ang ganun. Bawal yung may retroactive effect. Kumbaga, kunwari, nangyari yung krimen before, pero hindi pa siya krimen before, wala pang, there was still no law punishing it. Tapos ngayon, biglang may batas na ginawa, punishing the act of Pedro. Yan. So, dapat, sabi, kung mag-i-effect man yung batas, it shall not have a retroactive effect. When we say retroactive effect, it shall not penalize previous violators. Yan. So, dapat mag-effect lang yan. Kung ngayon nag-take effect, after 15 days of its publication, mag-effect na yung batas. Hindi pwedeng mag-effect backwards. Dapat mag-effect onwards. So, kung sabi, by 2024, bawal na ang gwapo, ikukulong ang mga gwapo. Yan. Dumating yung 2024, hindi naman 2024. Kunwari ngayon, nilabas. So, after 15 days, ikukulong na yung mga gwapo. Diba? So, yung mga gwapo lang ngayon, ang pwede lang ikulong. Hindi natin pwedeng ikulong yung mga naging gwapo previously. Kumbaga yan, ang bill of attainder. Bawal yung may retroactive effect. Meron tayo, pwede, if it is in favor with the accused. So, yun lang. Pwede ang ex post facto law if it is in favor with the accused. Okay? So, pwede yung may retroactive effect ang batas if it is favorable to the accused. Just like the story of Robin Padilla, di ba? So, nahuli si Robin Padilla. Ang kaso niya, illegal possession of firearms. Tapos, na-reduce yung penalty dahil favorable siya sa accused, it then, uh, it then, tawag ito, affected to the penalty of Robin Padilla. Nabawasan din yung penalty niya. Diba? Okay. So, this is not related to our subject. Siguro sa layawan subject nyo. Sa layawan, sabi, any Filipino citizen can apply to the PNP service. Sabi, my question is, can we include naturalized Filipino citizen? Pwede ba yung mga foreign national na nag-convert sa Filipino? Pwede ba sila mag-apply na police? The answer to that, ladies and gentlemen, is no. Okay, so, sige, isama na lang din natin. But with that, ladies and gentlemen, let's have 10 minutes break.